Welcome to episode 1 of Fighting for Light. I am Danielle Hendricks. I'm your host, and I am excited to be here. It has been a while coming, but I am very happy to be in this space. This podcast is my response. It's just my response. That's all I have to say about that. It is an answer to so many times of me saying, I wish I had a voice, or I wish I could speak into this situation, or why is the world so chaotic? And doesn't anyone want my opinion? Which they probably don't, and they don't even know I exist. In the world that we live in right now, there are so many chaotic moments and so much confusion and darkness, and I want to speak into it. I want to give you tools. I want to help you in times when you have influence. I want to help you relate to your family members. I want to help you to parent better. If you are a ministry coach, a ministry person, if you are a leader, I want to help you in those spaces. But most important of all, I want you to feel fulfilled. I want you to feel whole with yourself. I am a wife and a mother of 4 children who are 10 and under. I am the CEO of a pregnancy help center, so I work actively in the nonprofit world. I am a certified mindset coach, and much of what you hear from me will come through that lens. And also, I have just worked in ministry with people for a lot of years, like 20 years. I was a Focus missionary, if you have heard of Focus, and I worked for different dioceses in the Catholic Church. I worked for churches. I worked in this specific company. I've now been here for a little over 6 years. I've been the CEO for a little over 3. And I just got certified as a mindset coach. And I just feel like I finally am finding my voice, which for some of you, that might come as a surprise if you know me, because I've had a voice and an opinion on many things in the past. This might be a place that becomes my soapbox, and I apologize in advance for that. But I also want this to be a space where you feel like you're getting real information and you can find truth and beauty and goodness, because those are the things that are going to make you feel whole and connected. First and foremost, I am a Christian. I'm Catholic, and I do believe that God has a plan for your life, for all of us, for our world. And although it feels right now like things are really chaotic and maybe in chaos, there is light. There is light. And I am a true believer that everything that can be brought into the light, that will give us clarity. And the name Fighting for Light came about because for myself, I went to Israel a few years ago on a pilgrimage to walk in the footsteps of Christ. And the name Fighting for Light came about there when we were at the place where Jesus speaks to a huge population of people in the region by the Sea of Galilee. And he's speaking to the people saying, be the salt, be the light. And it struck me that the people hearing that understood what he meant, because they were from the top of a hill where when they shined a light, everyone could see it. When he said, be the salt, they were the ones getting the salt from the sea to bring to the people to season their food. When he says those things, they were inherently values that they could put onto themselves. And the light in that moment struck me that we are called to be the light, and we are called to fight to have a light that is worth shining. So much of the work that I have done over the last a bunch of years, I have to attribute here to the Women's School. I was certified as a mindset coach through the Wholeness School, through their coaching program, and January Donovan, Chantal Howard, those are just great mentors, and I have to thank them in advance because it has led to a lot of this fulfillment in myself and this forward-looking endeavor. So I will share more about that. I'm sure you will hear a lot about it. Also, I am pro-life, and much of what I talk about will come through that lens as I share encounters and situations that come from this setting as myself as the CEO of a pregnancy help center. There are so many things that could be put under the umbrella of fighting for light, and I'm sure it will ebb and flow. And I just ask that as you stick this out with me in this podcast, that you, as you encounter the growing pains with me, that you just chuckle along with it. But just know that fighting for light is a place for discovering truth and discovering the truth about ourselves, discovering the beauty about ourselves and the goodness about ourselves, but hopefully through a lens of God and through a lens of knowing that there are like-minded people in this community that want to walk alongside you as we encounter the truth behind who we are, and we want to find peace and calm. I hope that those words don't just mean something flowery to you, that you have a right to wholeness, that you have a right to feel fulfilled in the life that you're living. And if you don't, then there is work to be done, and there are people who are willing to walk with you. I will share a lot in my show notes of places that you can start doing some of that work, but I have encountered great change and wholeness and fulfillment in discovering myself. That doesn't mean there aren't wounds in ourselves, and that doesn't mean there aren't wounds in the people that we encounter, and that doesn't mean there aren't wounds and scary things in the world and community that we live. Fighting for light means that we are going to try to find a positive side of those things, but do the work to be whole in those places. So with that, I just want to thank you for listening in. I know this is a short starter episode, but we're just getting our feet wet. I'm going to end each of my episodes with a journal prompt. I am a firm believer that journaling and reflecting is a huge, huge part of changing the way that we think and see ourselves. Because although some of us are introverts and some of us are extroverts, I will let you decide which one I am. Externalizing things that we think or believe can help us to process better. So the journal prompt for this day or this first episode is, where do I feel like I am a light? Question mark. Where do I feel like there are shadows? And where do I feel like I'm in the dark? And these questions can pertain to yourself, or these questions can pertain to maybe situations you're in or communities that you're in. And I know for myself, sometimes, especially in this season, politically, sometimes I feel like there is a lot of shadow, and I am constantly grasping at straws to understand what's going on. The first step is self-awareness and self-knowledge. And I think in fighting for light, I want us to bring ourselves into the light. I want us to bring ourselves into a place where we can look clearly, but we're going to do it together. So let's start there. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Danielle Hendricks. This is Fighting for Light, episode 1. See you next time.